AMD Ryzen 7 9700X and Ryzen 5 9600X now available. First Zen 5 CPUs to hit desktop with 8 cores for $359 and 6 cores for $279. AMD has officially launched its first Zen 5 desktop CPUs, the Ryzen 7 9700X and Ryzen 5 9600X, now available for $359 and $279 US, respectively. First AMD Zen 5 desktop CPUs hit shelves, Ryzen 7 9700X available for $359 US and Ryzen 5 9600X available for $279 US. The AMD Ryzen 7 9700X and Ryzen 5 9600X are the first Zen 5 CPUs to hit the AM5 desktop platform. These chips are designed for mainstream users with prices lower than the MSRPs of the last-gen Ryzen 7000 Zen 4 inches lineup. MSI's AM5 exclusive memory Triad and high-efficiency mode BIOS feature boost AMD Ryzen 9000 CPU gaming performance by up to 10%. We tested both chips in our review yesterday, and while we found them to be great uplifts over the previous parts, especially in terms of efficiency, their value compared to Ryzen 7000 chips such as the Ryzen 7 7700X and Ryzen 5 7600X is slightly lower, which would improve over time as the discounts hit the streets. Regardless, for those who have been waiting for a Ryzen 9000 CPU, they are now available and can be found at the retail links below. For the more mainstream users, AMD has the Ryzen 7 9700X 100,000,01404, which is an 8-core CPU with 16 threads, a base clock of 3.8 GHz, a boost clock of up to 5.5 GHz, 40 MB of cache, 1 CCD with 32 MB L3 plus 8 MB L2, and a low TDP of 65 watts, which is also much lower than the 105 watts TDP featured on its predecessor, the Ryzen 7 7700X. The Ryzen 7 7700X has a 105 watts part, while the AMD Ryzen 7 9700X has a 65 watts part, which is almost half its TDP, and that means that the clocks do take a slight bit of hit, with the base clock being minus 700 MHz slower, but the boost clock is rated at plus 100 MHz. For the 65 watts SKUs, AMD recommends using a premium air cooler for optimal performance, but even with such a low TDP, AMD is making sure that enthusiasts don't miss out on the AUC and tuning features, as the Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 5 chips come with all the goodies as the higher-end Ryzen 9 SKUs based on the Zen 5 core architecture. Ryzen 5 9600X 100,000,01405 CPU features 6 cores and 12 threads. This chip has a base clock of 3.9 GHz, maximum boost clock of up to 5.40 GHz, and packs 38 MB cache and the same 65 watts TDP. Only the AMD Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 5 CPUs see a clock bump over their predecessor, while the Ryzen 9 chips retain the same clock speeds. The AMD Ryzen 5 9600X sees a 100 MHz boost clock improvement over its predecessor, the Ryzen 7 7600X, but comes with a lower base clock of minus 800 MHz. The other two Ryzen 9000 CPUs, the Ryzen 9 9950X and the Ryzen 9 9900X, will be hitting retail shelves on the 15th of August, so stay tuned for a high-end Zen 5 action next week.